Hello, welcome to Countdown to Kickoff. I'm your host, Chris Brack, and I am joined again by Conroy. How you doing, Conroy?
Good mate. Looking forward to the game. I think I've already seen Kev's comment that Brighton's lineup's a bit different, a bit weird. So it's going to be an interesting one for a 3 o'clock kickoff. Tactically, it's going to be quite interesting. How are you feeling about the game, mate?
Oh, you know me, I'm quite chilled, quite relaxed. Typical top red reaction, you know what I'm like.
Well, no, I was listening on the last week's one before I went to the pub for the game. I was quite enjoyed it.
Yeah. Amazing those guys aren't here today. But the day's still young. Before we get into any further, me bodying people in the comments. Today's show is brought to you by manscaped.com. So for 20% off and free shipping, please go to manscaped.com and enter the code LFCDT on checkout, and you'll get 20% off and free shipping. All details are in the description below. So cheers to Manscaped for sponsoring us again. So anyway, Brighton. This is always an interesting one, Brighton, because it always feels like a side you should beat, but they always seem to be a side that when we play them, it's always a tricky game. I think the last time we actually got like a significant win over them was probably 2007 when we beat them 5-1. But other than that, they're normally like tight 2-1 wins, and you have to graft to beat Brighton. And we've seen this year, the fourth in the league before the game starts. They're going to be an interesting opposition.
No, they're doing very well. I think they're a very, very good. Started very well, and probably could say with Bissouma being out injured, actually, it's coincided with their I say poorer recent form, but their lack of getting wins. So it's an interesting one, but for me, I feel like we've got enough anyway. But I do think that Brighton have actually, if you look at their start, fifth's amazing. They started probably earlier in the season better, and we're probably playing them. I think we beat them if they're at the top performance anyway. But I feel like it's not the worst time to play them right now. As I say, they've not really had that winning factor since Bissouma's been out. So I do feel like we've got enough. However, as it comes to a coach, I think you know already, I'm a big fan of Potter. I think he's very, very doesn't fit for some of the bigger jobs that came in. But I think what he's doing at Brighton's outstanding. Similar to what he done to Ostersund's as well. He gets not necessarily saying poor players, but maybe they're not necessarily world class or top players. But he gets them to play in a system that they can excel at in a certain role. And even his signings recently, if you look at Cucurella, Chris, I don't know if you've watched him, he's been really very impressive. So he has been even if it comes to getting players in or developing players they've currently got. He also seems to add that touch of the experience in, like your Adam Lallana's, Welbeck. I know Welbeck's not done as much recently. And even people like Trossard. Trossard looks some player at the moment. I know he's got in the Belgium squad a few times as well. I think a lot of that's due to Potter, to be honest, getting the best out of him. So I had a lot of respect for Brighton, but I just think we've got enough. And I know you have one player in particular who's on form, Mo Salah, who's guaranteed to score today. So someone in midweek said we're basically 1-0 up anyway, Chris. So
I think I said that.
That's the thoughts towards it.
Yeah, my tactical genius was just give it to Mo Salah. That normally solves the problems. I mean, Mo Salah, I think at the moment, he is 5 goals in 8 games against Brighton. So that's another club he quite likes to play against. Kev brings a good point with the Brighton team. We'll go through the teams in a minute. No recognised striker, because I mean Trossard can play as a striker, but he's more of a number 10 type. And Veltman looks like he's playing right back, but he's normally more of a centre back.
Yeah, no, he's done that previously though, because he'd done that. It was either I checked last week, the City game and the Carabao Cup game. One of them he played centre back, and one of them he played right back. So think of that what you will. So guess as good as anyone's for today where he'll play, but he has played both positions. So again, it's like even with Dan Burn, like who would ever thought Dan Burn would be a left wing back, and he's played there a few times as well, and he's actually on the ball. So yeah, it's actually going to be quite interesting to see how they approach it if he's going to try something a little bit different, Potter. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's good. It's actually good that Dan Burn's out, to be honest. He's a good player. He just looks weird as a left back, but it works. So anyway, let's go through the team then. So it's 2 changes from the United side. So we've got Ali in goal, same back 4. So Trent, Canate, Van Dijk, Robertson. Midfield is changed up, so it's Keita, Henderson, Jones is coming for Milner, and then the front 3 is Salah, Firmino, and Mane's coming for Jota. So pretty much no big shocks for me really there. You'd expect Jones to come in because Milner's injured, and I don't think Chamberlain's, while he's had some good cameo appearances, I don't think he's quite done enough yet to deserve a start.
Yeah, he's probably been quite impactful from the bench recently as well, to be perfectly honest. So I think he might see some game time today.
You'd like to think so. And then in terms of the bench, we've got Adrian on the bench because Kelleher's still ill. Then we've got Gomez, Matip, Simicas, Chamberlain. Tyler Morton gets placed the bench, which, after his performance midweek,
glad
is
to see.
fully deserved. And then the attacking options are Jota, Origi, and Minamino. So there's no real big surprise there. I'm sure there was a little hope that some people were going like, maybe, Thiago might have made the bench, but, Klopp was quite clear in his press conference that, yes, he started training, doesn't mean he's ready for a match. So you wonder maybe is someone like a Thiago being kept back so he's ready to be on the bench for Madrid and for West Ham. So
yeah, I think definitely see the Jota thing 100%, Chris. I think Jota for me will start against Atletico. I think Mane wasn't particularly great against him. I think Trippier marked him out the game quite well. It was not massively impressive in the away leg, and I think Jota will add a different dimension against Atletico, especially with his movement. So I could see Jota going out on the left against Atletico with Bobby in the middle and Salah obviously on the right. And I think, to be honest, not playing Mane against Preston, he was always going to start today, especially not playing Old Trafford. Like, at the end of the day, like that was correct not to play him at Old Trafford, because Diogo Jota scores the second goal because of his movement like that, and Klopp has showed the way he's been rotating him has worked. So I think, it makes a lot of sense to play Mane today. He's probably going to want to impress as well, maybe a little bit
bit of
annoyance.
Fire in the belly. Fire in the belly. So Keith Plunkett saying important not to underestimate Brighton. Very good side, but we keep the momentum. Keith's going for a 3-0 win. I like that, Keith. Nice and positive. Kevin O'Sullivan saying this will be harder than the United game. Genuinely believe that. Not just ripping the piss out of United. Although, I mean, to be fair to Keith, we can rip the piss out of United.
No, but the thing is as well,
I do think
it seems like that are going to have managers who know how to adapt, whereas maybe the aura at Manchester United, or the historical thing is we're going to go out and play, which was just absolutely nonsense and nonsensical against Liverpool. And it will be a harder game today. That's Kev's absolutely right. 100%. It'll be a more difficult game to break down Brighton today.
Yeah, Kev makes a good point. You'd say Bobby will try and hold up play and probably to curb Basuma. I mean, probably off the one he does drop in Basuma. I did also hear a point made by Neil Atkinson on the Anfield Wrap, who did point out that with no Fabinho at the moment, we're losing a bit of height. So probably one thing is Bobby is very good for set plays. So that could also be a reason for Bobby putting in is physically, he's good. He's a good set piece option because, it's a big Brighton side, and our midfield is, the likes of Keita, Salah, Mane, they aren't the tallest. So, again, just basic physiology sometimes. Sometimes you just need a few more bigger lads in your side. So that also helps. Good to see Konate do back-to-back games. He did well against Old Trafford. So I'll be interested how he does. Again, he'll help us because he'll be able to fill in for Trent at right back if Trent pushes up. I think physically he's good in the air, and I think we need that bit of power. Interesting how he does against Trossard, who isn't going to play up against him. He's going to be more of a drop deep, and it's going to be quite a tricky...
Intelligent player, footballer. I think I heard a quote by Kyle Walker once, and it's like, he went, see when it's like a fast winger against me, no bother, because they're not going to outmuscle me, they're not going to outpace. But he said the hardest opponent was like Yossi Benayoun, someone like that who'll drop into the space, do 1-2s, basically think outside the box. And I feel like it'll be really good for Konate today to verse someone who it's not just going to be balls up or hit it past and run. It's going to be the intelligence, which will be good for his development as well. But I think he's got more than enough to deal with that.
Yeah. Glenn Parsons has put, I'm assuming he means Brighton, couldn't handle Foden in the false nine, and we've got the best false nine in the world. We'll see.
Very good point, Glenn.
It's a very good point. I think from what I saw bits of the City game. Brighton had a lot of the ball, actually. 2 City goals were breakaway goals, which what City are very good at. So, I mean...
the first goal's a mistake as well by Sanchez. It was a very good season, to be fair, and it was uncharacteristic mistake. And once you go 1-0 up, down against City, it's always going to be... Ironically, I know they won 3-2 when they were 2-0 down last year, but I think, Chris, as well, though, it's like...
Also, City had the league won by that point as well. I do think was there an element of it's kind of won, so... Especially
when you go 2-0 up, kind of the complacency sets in. But on Glenn's point as well, I actually think that's really good, because I think if you play a Jota down the middle today, I'm not saying Jota can't link up, of course he can, but Firmino will drop deep as that false nine, whereas at times with Jota we might try to whip it in. And to be honest, Brighton will eat that up, and that's not a go at them, because they are good at playing with the ball, but they have got good centre backs for dealing with balls like that.
Duff and Dunk are both very good centre backs, especially with the balls in the air. That's kind of
Dunk's good on the feet. I'd say Webster's good on the feet as well. I'd say the only one who gets a bly when they play a free Are they playing a 3 today? I think they
No,
are.
I think
Is it,
I think they're playing a 4.
is it a 4?
I think it's Vitman I think it's Vitman as the right back and Cucurella as left back.
Well, that's interesting because Duffy's in a past, especially in Scotland, he's never been a great ball player. I think he showed that in Scotland as well. So recently, I think they've helped him by playing the 3. So that'll be interesting. But
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm also interested to see how Moda does for them because I'll be honest, I don't know too much about him. I don't profess to watch loads of Brighton. And
Watched about him against City. I think he's been decent, to be fair, but that game was quite hard because obviously against the quality with City,
yeah,
it's hard to judge.
and then the 2 wide players are March and I can't pronounce the other lad's name. MWEPO. I saw bits of him in the League Cup. I think he scored. He scored in the League Cup. He looked decent. He looks decent. I mean, look, Brighton.
A lot of these Brighton finds are good. Yeah, they're very good. Like even like Solly March, to be fair. Like
I do think
probably watched the United game last year when they lost 3-2. He's very effective in that game as well. So he's a good player as well.
I would say this is the game Liverpool wants to get a lead and try and get a decent lead early because we look Mopé. He's just one of those players. If he comes off the bench, he's a nightmare. He's also frustrating because he can miss from 2 yards and score a worldie. He's one of those type of players, but he'll be a pain to. He'll be a pain. You don't really want to come level with him coming off the bench because he will make life a bit difficult. But let's go to us. I mean, in terms of us, look, we've got a midfield there that's got legs, got energy, it can press. Henderson's done really well in the 6. Some would say probably he's done better in the 6 this season than he has as an 8. I do think this year he's been asked to push higher up when he plays an 8, and I don't think that suits him. I think he's better when he's playing that little bit deeper, and his job is to set things up and cover. But look, I'm fine with Henderson as a 6. And Jones, I thought he was really good at Old Trafford. I thought he was okay midweek. I did feel like he was playing within himself, and I wondered if that was under instruction. Just get through the game and not.
I think it's hard, isn't it? When you're even like Oxlade-Chamberlain, for example, Chris. You know, it's like he plays United and Atletico off the bench, plays really good. Then he plays a lesser opposition, but because it's a mixed bag of players you're playing with, sometimes I do think that affects players. Obviously, playing with better players, but some people feel like they need to do more when there's less quality players on the pitch. So it's like I need to do the Hollywood pass. Like Ox is a nightmare for it. Instead of just keeping it simple, he's got to try something, and it's like he's always trying too hard in those games. So I think Jones will do well today.
I mean, I felt that game there's a bit too many hot takes of this is why the bench isn't this is why our squad isn't this. You're like, we literally played 11 lads, and I would probably say 8, 9 of them haven't played since the last League Cup game. So no wonder
it's hard. No
wonder they look rusty. You know, Gomez looked rusty. Well, he hasn't played for 4 weeks. Everyone looks rusty when you haven't played for 4 weeks. It's just
it's a typical League Cup game, isn't it? When it goes like that, like when the Norwich one's great, but Norwich are going to give you space and they're not playing very well. Whereas Preston are going to set up and make it difficult, and they caused us problems. But it's hard. It's hard, Chris, because see if that team's not played together before, just to say drop them in and say be amazing, that's quite difficult.
Yeah, because even the City side that played got knocked out by West Ham. Ham. But when you looked at that side, majority of them have been playing in the squad, or you know, you'd argue our first teamers. So that's the difference sometimes. You know, that's where look, you know, people don't want to talk about it. Chelsea got through in the last 2 rounds, but Chelsea got through on penalty shootouts. You know, they haven't been like slapping teams and getting it done. You know, I've seen a few saying, of course, Basuma's back. Well, I mean, Basuma was back midweek, so we all knew he was going to start.
Just going to click on that, but to be fair, he's a
good player. He's a really good player.
He's been very important for them. As I say, their winless run has came when he's been out. I think we'll not get into too much about him because of the stuff off the field, but as a player, he's been stupendous.
But look, just focus on his on the field. His on the field, he's brilliant. You know, he's powerful. You know, you can see why bigger clubs have been looking at him. You know, how long could Brighton keep hold of him, I suppose, is the question. I was a little surprised he didn't go in the summer. I thought, well, us would have looked at him. Definitely think he'd have walked into Arsenal's midfield. I know they're doing well today against Leicester, but you know, in general, you'd have thought they'd he'd get into quite a few top 6 sides.
Well. Yeah, I was surprised as well. I thought, especially the rumours at the start of the summer, I thought he would have been away. So it's a strange one. Do you think anyone from the Brighton side, apart from Basuma, Chris, would move on to bigger things or bigger teams? Because I think Basuma's the only one who's getting kind of talked about. Then probably Lamptey, I would say as well.
Lamptey and Cucurella. I think Cucurella's he just looks a bit of a find. Him, I think. I think Duffy Dunk. I think they've kind of found. I can't see at their ages as well, especially Duffy Dunk.
Dunk's older than the looks. I thought he was younger. Dunk's actually older than I thought he was.
So Trossard. I mean, Trossard is no one. He could be an interesting squad option. You know,
I agree.
He feels like, you know, he feels like, you know, he do well at Tottenham. and I don't mean that
Yeah.
disparagingly. He probably would do well as an option for Tottenham, as another creative, deep lying players, which is probably what they need. I mean, I wouldn't be too upset if we had him as a bench option for us. So there's 2 or 3 there. I mean, Klopp said it. If Lallana could have stayed fit, Lallana would probably still be at Liverpool.
Yeah.
Lallana,
Trossard's a good shout though, Chris. I think Trossard
yeah.
could actually be high level. I think he's very intelligent as a player. And he's a good option off some bigger teams' benches because he's a bit different, isn't he? So, but Tottenham's not quite a good shout, to be honest.
Yeah. And also, what I say, I don't want disparaging. I just feel like he fits their type of, Lucas Moura, Son.
I know. I feel like Lucas Moura has wasted his career going to Tottenham, but that's just me. He's a workhorse now instead of his talent, But that's the manager's, not because of the club.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I just feel he's that type of player who's thinking, well, Tottenham have got a few players like that, and actually he'd just be another good option. To me, he's better than Bergwijn. To me, Bergwijn, I don't think is consistent enough. So, but yeah, Lamptey again, another one. I think if he'd not had that bad injury, would he still be at Brighton? Because there's a few clubs I think, Lamptey feels like the natural replacement for Kyle Walker at some point for City. That's what Lamptey looks like to me. He just looks brilliant.
I agree, mate.
Cup draws. We got Leicester at home, which will be a nice tasty tie, home tie as well, which would be nice. Just before Christmas as well, so that'd be interesting because we do play Leicester just after Christmas as well. So it's funny how those things work out. We've got London derby, haven't we? We've got Spurs, West Ham, which I'm looking forward to. That. I think that'd be good.
At West Ham win that easily.
And then we've got Chelsea at home to Brentford. So that'd be interesting because Brentford gave them a game at their stage. I'd still think they'll get through. And then Arsenal got the club, to be fair, that every Premier League wanted. They got Sunderland at home.
We'll see, mate. Maybe worth sticking a cheeky tenner on that. You never know.
They are that club, aren't they? So we just think like if anyone's going to balls it up, it's possibly Arsenal. But in fairness, they have sort of turned a little bit of a corner. They are in quite
cup competitions. They actually tend to do quite good in those games. Like they win more than they actually. You think, this is going to be a banana skin, and they end up winning. They've done it quite a few times.
So we'll do a proper preview of the Leicester game. But I'm looking forward to it. It's a winnable game. But as I think Kev was still put on Twitter, it's a winnable game. But if you lost it, it's not a shock or a disgrace. You go like you can't lose to Leicester. Leicester are, are still a good side.
Yeah. I think he should change his squad a bit. And I'm not saying first team, but it's a home tie with the crowd in a quarter-final to get to a semi-final. Do you not think?
I think if we get the job done against Madrid, I think he goes very strong in the Leicester game because pretty much he can play the reserves then in Porto and Milan. Yeah. So Porto, Milan, you'll see. When I say the reserves, you'll see the likes of Gomez, Matip, who the two centre-backs who aren't playing will play. Keller will get minutes. Simicast will get minutes. Chamberlain, Jones, they'll all get minutes. Origi, Minamia, they'll all be playing Champions League football, which for us won't do him any harm. Tyler Morton will probably get his European debut. Yeah, you make it sort of like a Cade Gordon. You get those sort of runouts because then there's no risk. Because you're like, well, if you get beat, you get beat, but we're already through, so it doesn't matter.
But then I agree. Yeah.
You're resting lads then for it. If we don't get it done against Madrid, then you've got to try and then you've got to try and do it against Porto. That's when it becomes a little bit of a. We'll see how it's going.
Yeah, I agree, Chris. I think I'm not saying full strength, absolutely, but just like, do you know what I mean? Like a few in the front three, maybe not the normal front 3 or 4, but Origi, a bit like Milan, AC Milan game, in the Champions League, a bit like that. I think we could, mate, and it'd be good because I don't know about you. I know he brushes it off, and that's fine, but I want to win any trophy we're in. I absolutely and I understand the logistics, but.
I think we've been diddled. I think we've been diddled a little bit with the draws. I mean, let's face it. Last time we got to the quarterfinal, we had to play kids because the rest of the squad was in Qatar. Which is, in fairness to Klopp, it's not what you could do when you've already agreed to play in a competition, and they're like, "Oh yeah, by the way, can you play a game 24 hours before?"
No, you're absolutely right. And then it was the Chelsea one was the round they played against Preston, and then it doesn't matter any reserves you played against Chelsea. I think let's be perfectly honest, I think Billy Gilmour was outstanding that night, and we had a good squad, but we kind of had like. A bit depleted, and then Adrian was in goal, so that was just a bit of a nightmare that night. But
the fair play, so he actually, despite what some say, he did what you needed him to do. He made
Preston. He was great against us. 2 great saves, mate. Brilliant.
2 good saves. I know some people say that's his job.
I would say great, but because that's point blank range.
But everyone would. But I would say, especially the first one, but if the second one goes in, everyone's kicking off. Then say, well, why is Adrian not saving it? So you're like, well, look, the time they got through. He said he kept it at 0-0. That's doing you. That's what we want your keepers to do. Credit where it's due. Is anyone saying he's the world's best keeper? No, but we're just saying credit where credit's due. So
absolutely,
we'll see. So Daniel Kev wants to know what's our thoughts on United Spurs later. I've got a feeling it's at Spurs, isn't it? You fancy Spurs, but I've got a 2-2 in my head. And hopefully, if it goes my way, it's 2-2 and Spurs equalise quite late, because that's a killer for both of them then. Because
Yeah, but it's not like he loses his job, killer. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like, oh, that's annoying.
But it's a killer, because it's still like, oh, I'm then
Yeah.
going into the City game. And the City game is going to be wild, because quite frankly, all logic says City slap them 4 or 5-0.
I think it's just too much, though. They will slap them. I just think it's too much. I think the qualities, they're just all over the shop right now.
Yeah,
but you never know. You never know, Chris. Football's weird.
Yeah, so I mean, because as bad as United have been at times, that manager keeps getting wins against Pep. Christ knows how.
Yeah, he's got some record against Pep.
He's got some, and I don't know why, because I don't think he does anything particularly clever, but it seems to happen. Kev points out £5 million income for the last 2 group games, so he probably still got, maybe got a bit stronger than I said, but I think
there can be a balance. There can be a balance for those games, I think.
I mean, I generally think Klopp has to sit Mo Salah down and say, I know you want to. You're not playing these 2 games. Why? This is my only chance I get to rest you, because you're on fire. So don't burn him out. And we don't want a repeat of Midtjylland, where we lost Jota for 2-3 months, I think, because of it. We don't want that sort of situation. So we will.
Can I just add to the United game, because I think it will be United win 2-1 tonight. It is El Sakiko, as people have been saying. So yeah, I hope it's a good game. I hope it's not 0-0, because I'm hoping they tactically are both poor,
honest,
but it gives goals.
I don't think either can defend properly. So to be honest.
Yeah, I know. But just on that as well, someone's comment earlier was about the 5-0 thing, Chris. I don't know if you knew that. It was the Watford game, and I said we're definitely not winning 5-0. And we won 5-0. So I say we're definitely not winning 5-0 today, folks. We're definitely not winning 5-0 today. So
listen, I'll take any sort of jinx like that if it works. That sounds to me. Yeah. So come on, everyone in the comments, give us your score predictions. I've changed mine from last night. I put 4-0. Don't know why. I feel dead confidence.
Absolutely going for it.
Absolutely going for it. This could be me Avi moments where it all blows up in my face.
But Avi said that like 100 times and it came off twice. So I mean, it's law of averages. It's going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, my favourite score is normally 3-1, but I've just got a feeling we're just in that right vein of form. But I think for us to get a 4-0, we do need to, I think, score in the first 15. And look, if you ask me for goal scorers, 2 for Salah, 1 for Sadio, and I fancy Big Verge to finally get a goal.
Yeah, finally, I know. I think, to be fair, our set pieces have not been great from corners to give him a chance, to be honest. I think before he got injured the season before, it was like every ball in, he was getting a chance. He probably should have done better. And now it's like he's not getting anywhere near the set pieces. I think it's some shout. I do think, for me, though, I'm going to say 2-0. Because I do think Brighton are one of these teams that, even if they go down, they'll still keep playing. They'll still try to keep playing. And it's a case of, I think Klopp will look at that, and if we do get ahead, just to control this game and just get the win. I'd love to see us win 3 or 4, but
I'll be honest, I don't know why Spurs didn't go for him instead of the guy they've got, because I'm just like he's a project manager. And he will take time to build up, but they had that with Poch, and I kind of think that would suit Spurs, and I think he would get Spurs also playing a style of football that they like as well. So.
No, it's a good shout. I agree. He should have been in the running. But someone did say to me he probably wouldn't leave there now because he's still in the middle of that project with Brighton.
Yeah,
and that sounds laughable, but it's not really, because he's making strides. Even Mopai's looking better in front of goal. So it's like, to me, he seems quite determined like that. He's he sticks through his projects and then he'll leave. But we'll see. So you're going for 4-0. I'm going for 2-0. And the comments, the 2-0, 2-0. 3-0.
Kev's got
Kanate hat trick.
Daniel Kev's given us 3-1, and he's given us some odds as well. 250.
Is that on William Hill, mate? I'll go on there now. That's a I'm putting that on before we play.
Patsy said we're not going to win 5-0. We're going to win 6. So I love that sort of I love that sort of confidence. That's what we like. Avo saying I think it's going to be a tight 1-0. I mean, to be fair to Avo, look at the previous scores. It was we lost 1-0, we drew 1-1, we won 3-1, 2-1, 1-0. So, if it goes
back form, in the Chris Hughton days when it was a 5-1, wasn't it?
Yeah. So, they're a good side, Brighton. I'm just feeling. I think I'm still buoyant off slapping Man United 5-0 with apparently the worst starting 11 ever invented. So,
Oh yeah. But no, it's a good. Zed Zahir's comment was saying should be brushing teams aside like this if we have any title ambitions. The thing is, that's maybe a fair statement, but for me, it's like, say if a certain team struggles against one team, a top team, you find that other teams, it's football's different, isn't it? Someone could be on form that day and it causes trouble. Someone could be off. I think it's very hard to judge every game. For me, it's all about just winning today. It's really easy to see what City done to Brighton, but football doesn't always work like that. And to be fair to City, Sanchez made a mistake which made them 1-0 up. I mean, we need to remember that as well. So I think fair enough for the comment. I think you need to be patient today, though. That's all I think.
It's patient. Yeah, I mean, even the year we won the league, there were teams like Brighton, I think, where it was a scrappy 2-1 win. To us, it's about winning it. If you can win it at a canter, that's a bonus. It's just getting the job done. I mean, this is probably the last time you'll have Liverpool, City, and Chelsea all on 3:00 kickoffs. So
good point, Chris. I always forget that because usually with
we normally look at this is going to be like refreshing your screen to say if they've scored.
And we'll all be a little bit behind if we are. I'm not saying we will be watching it, maybe following on our phone of some kind, but maybe be a little bit of a lag. So switch all your WhatsApp group chats off. That's what I do. Get the mute notifications on. That's what I do.
But interesting ones because I mean Chelsea on paper away at Newcastle. I'd say you routine Chelsea win, but Chelsea's record at Newcastle, back to the Mourinho days, isn't the best. It's bizarre. But some clubs have these teams that, no matter what happens, they have a little bit of a hoodoo over them. Ours used to be like Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough, no matter how crap they were, would always beat Liverpool. They just had that hoodoo. And then City are at home. They've got to Palace. Palace, over the years, have got a few results. I mean, this even under Roy Hodgson. So, but if I'm being perfectly honest, this feels like a game that Liverpool have to win to stay second. Because I would expect the other two teams to win. So just keep yourself in the hunt. And that's all you need to do.
There will be tougher fixtures, tougher match days when it's going to be... It's quite interesting. And we can do the job ourselves when we look at it. We've still got Chelsea and City to play away. There's no need. We right now, we're not even probably at our best form yet. And that sounds a bit crazy winning 2-5-0s. But
we've got a tricky 3 games now. We've got Brighton at home. Then we've got Madrid. Madrid won't be easy, and they'll want revenge because for what we did to them in their place. And then we've got West Ham away. And look, West Ham are in great form. So,
maybe I take it back, sorry, because we are in good form. What I mean is, I just think it's not every player's been outstanding. I still think there could be
the teams
some players can hit level. Yeah, the team's doing well, and I feel like we've got in some of those games we can definitely hit another gear. Absolutely. So why not? I think we can beat Chelsea and City away. Absolutely. So you're right, mate. You need to keep in the hunt. It's one of these games. It'd be great if we played well, but I really don't care. It's just about winning this game.
Cool. Well, for the 50, 60 you were watching, thanks for watching.
Chris, just before we go, I wanted to ask you, mate, just before we go, who's going to be your player of the game today? And don't say Salah.
Is it like you've got to pick someone but Salah?
Salah. It's like one of those stats, but Salah, got better goals. The only one who's got more is Salah. Trent.
I'm going to with Trent today. Feels like a game for his set pieces today. Who's yours, mate? Shout.
I'm going to go for... Trent's a good one, mate. I'm going to go for... Every time I said Naby last time, he scored a screamer and then he made the mistake. So I'm going to say Naby again.
Naby, listen, if Naby can repeat his Man United form, sound by me. Listen, I've been critical of Naby in the past, but listen, I always give a player credit when it's due. He was brilliant in the last game, and fingers crossed, I hope he's there. Kev says Henderson for him. Yeah, Henderson's a good shout, playing him at 6 again. So... fingers crossed. But listen, for the guys here that are watching, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe on your way out. And later on today, we have got the Red Sea boys will be back. So they'll be going through post-match, hopefully talking about another Reds win. And then tomorrow it is the Fatback 4. No Gav because he's in Liverpool. I'll be meeting with him later.
Is he just visiting for the day? Nothing happening in Liverpool today?
No, nothing happening. No. So I'm actually going to meet up with him in Liverpool later tonight.
You're heading down to the pub now. That's why Chris is ending it now. He's got the trainers on. He's ready. He's out the door.
No. I'm going to listen to it at home. I'm going to go after the game. Chicken. So So I'm hoping to meet up with Andy and Gav and Shawnee. So tomorrow will be Fatback 4. Keith's in charge. So who knows what's going to happen? I'm sure it'll be great. Keith might get us all doing karaoke, to be honest.
Maybe. You never know with the Daytrippers. You never know. But no, the comments superb as always. Thanks again. Brilliant.
I'm hoping it's Keith's karaoke. I'll be quite disappointed now if it's not, to be honest. Might campaign for it.
Chris, you're saying this, right? You're not going to get until 3 in the morning. I'm going to see you in the WhatsApp now, like you, Gav, and Shawnee with a picture in the WhatsApp.
Yeah. I've got to go to the women's game on Sunday. That's a midday kickoff. So
that's tomorrow, mate. That's tomorrow. You've not got a day in between. That's tomorrow. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Get home early.
I've got tomorrow midday and I've got to take my daughter. So I've got to behave myself a little bit.
Good luck, guys. Take it easy.
Cool. Till then, guys. Speak to you soon.
Take care, guys.